Welcome back to Saturday Night Football on 2MCR 100.3 FM, the heart of Macarthur. And the sound of Macarthur Sport tonight is Picton and Moss Vale. That's Saturday Night Football from Victoria Park. Mike Shean, Matt French and Curtis Woodward with you. 28-0 at the break, boys. What's the message from Moss Vale? We know the effort's been there. The execution, okay, it's been a little bit lucky, but they've been putting in for 40 minutes. They're down to 12 men. What do you say to them at half time?
There's obviously going to be opportunities for Picton in the second half. That's just the way rugby league works. When you're tired and you've only got 12 players out there and Picton on a roll, old boys day 28-0. It is all about effort, and it's just getting there. The first marker, the AB defenders, they're just going to keep working hard through the middle, and if Picton are going to score, make them go around them. I mean, if the points are going to come, don't let them go through the middle.
You're right there. The key for Moscow now is just to have a bit of pride in your jersey, have a bit of pride in your performance. They're clearly not going to come back and win the game at 28 minutes down. So they just want to make this second half respectable. And for their sake, I hope they do.
And just quietly, doubles in the main. I need number 3, Pierce from Moss Vale. If you're listening, please say something.
See how we go with that in the next 40 minutes. Although I think if it remains nil, I think they're in a bit of trouble.
Yeah, that's correct.
What chance are they of scoring?
Well, I mean, they've shown a couple of attacking options, so yeah, I think they could get a try, but whether it's the mean you're after.
Yeah. We noticed if Piercy's playing on the same side as Anahara, because if he's not
It might be half a chance there.
And if Nick Taylor's marking for Picton,
There he
might
is,
get
he's
in
running
there
out the big
and offer him a deal with a magazine or something, so let him through.
There he is, just coming onto the field now.
Come on, Piercy.
There's your motivation for the next 40?
Yes. Well, it is all about effort, isn't it? And for
That's
Picton,
right.
For Picton, they're going to want to really, really put into the cleaners here for all the fans that are here today. So, I mean, it's not like there's going to be no excitement in the second half. Picton are going to here to play in the second half because they really, they're a little bit off in that.
They want to, and it will improve their for and against, which could be vital coming into the finals. Let's see what comes over the next 40 minutes. We're just about ready to get the foghorn underway for the second half here at Victoria Park. The lights are starting to take effect. They're certainly on in full blaze, and still a little bit of daylight left, but I suspect over the next 10 to 15 minutes they'll...
it's amazing how rapidly the sun just seems to vanish here once it goes behind those hills. It seems to be a couple of minutes and it's just pitched up.
Just a quick mention, Mike, I know I didn't get a chance before kick-off, but tomorrow Camden City and Camden are playing for the Benny Stevens Cup.
Yes.
The young friend of mine who took his own life not that long ago. So if you can get out to the ground tomorrow at Paymore to watch City and Camden and support the Benny Stevens Cup.
Yeah, that's in Fullwood Reserve, and I know we all support that. I'll probably be out there watching that one myself, so encourage everybody, get to Fullwood Reserve in Claymore tomorrow.
And updates on Facebook.
There will certainly be updates on Facebook tomorrow afternoon for Fullwood Reserve for those regular followers of Group 6 NRL commentary, which is where you can head if you want to have your say about rugby league in the Group 6. We are underway in the second half. Moss Vale running to our left in the second 40 minutes. They're running to the left of your radio dial, and they do have it about 5 minutes short of halfway. That's about the third tackle after the restart. Picton running left to right in the second 40 minutes as Cullen puts it through the hands. There's Enahoro, and it looks like your boy Pierce is on the wrong side. You might have to switch with the other centre in Josh Champion to work something out as we see Cullen now on the last. Puts the kick in. Not the best kick, but Let's got that covered. I think that might run dead, will it? No, Let's forced to field it in the goal and brings it out and almost makes it to the... In fact, makes it over the 10. Good run from Michael Lett, about 17 metres before he gets pulled down on the first tackle. And the Picton side certainly looking to start with a good set. Moss Vale, they wouldn't be unhappy with that first set after half time.
No, not at all. That was a good effort. You're right, Curtis.
As we see, I think Moss Vale have come up with it now.
Forget about the cheese.
Oh, well, half an hour.
He's into the crackers already, and we thought he was like that naturally. But anyway, as we see Big Mulaney with it for Moss Vale. 30 metres out, right in centre field, the big forward. And he looks like he's in a bit of trouble as well. He's done a calf, has he, maybe? Or an ankle. So goes through the hands now. That's Robbie Williams, the Rockstar, giving it off for Champion. Champion trying to stay in the field of play, gets it back. Williams covers it. He's in danger of going into touch, but they won't pull him down. He's 42 metres out, a couple of metres in from touch on this broadcast side as they play it now through the hands to the replacement in 14. I don't have another play for him. As we see an intercept, and Ben Hurler, he's away. and he'll score under the uprights. First try of the second half. What are we? Nearly 2.5 minutes into the second half, and Hurley scores his first, and that would make it 30-0 with a kick to come from directly in front. And disappointing for Moss Vale. That's certainly not what they want to see. They've got a couple of players injured already, and this could be ominous signs for the Dragons.
He's just swooped on the loose ball, Benny Hurley, and he's streaked away about 50 metres. And it's funny when he scores. I love the bloke. He's a lovely guy, but his chest just pumps up a little bit more. He gets around like a bit of a bantam rooster, and he's kicking in the dirt. And good on him. Good effort, Benny Hurley.
He's got that strut going, has he?
That's right.
I think we're going to see a little bit more of that in the second half. Moss Vale chance of their hand. A little bit, obviously, nothing to lose this afternoon. Now 32 down, and a few players on the field, including Scotty Getty. So they get a chance to hand, and Picton obviously are going to be the ones that reap the benefits.
So, well, as we see Provost back on the field, he'll take the shot at goal from directly in front. Should throw this over to make it 32-0 in favour of the home side. We've got about 36 minutes left in the second half, so still plenty of time for them. As the Dragons, the heads aren't down, but they're certainly not showing a lot of the body language isn't great from the visitors, and they are struggling this afternoon. Kick successful, 32-0. But Moss Vale, they are certainly battling this afternoon, if nothing else, and we'll give them full marks for at least putting in the effort and fronting up this afternoon.
Yeah, definitely. Good on the boys. And again, I hope that the second half here is respectable for them, for their sake. But yeah, a little bit ominous how easily that was. But as you alluded to, girls, they've got to try their hand. They've got to out here, come out here and just do their best and throw the ball around, because they've got to keep it interesting for themselves, don't they?
As we see the restart now from Moss Vale. The Dragons trying to defend. As Picton put it through the hands early. Got out wide, and they didn't quite make it this time. Nick Taylor, the model, pulled down 15 out, 20 just to the left of the uprights at their own end. Looks like Michael Lett taking it forward now over the 20. Good run from the fullback, who hasn't really been seen today, but I guess not really needed. Big Chris Bowers taking it forward over the 30 up towards the 40. So they make some good ground upfield from the front row. And they go now to Taylor again. Taylor up over the halfway. Another good run, makes about 12 or 13 metres. Pulled down 3 metres inside the Moss Vale half. Comes back now through the hands. He's Poisel at third receiver. Gives it out for the centre in Hurley. Inside ball goes to ground. That will be frustrating. I can see Kyle Shepherd on the bench ready to go on the hands. Went to their heads.
Yeah, Hurley almost had too many options there. He almost had 2 or 3 players moving up the inside, and probably the best option, Michael Lett, just couldn't get there in time, and the ball went to ground. So plenty of chances here for Picton coming up, and Kyle Shepherd, who's been in the field for quite some time, he's about to come back into the game. Interchange 6 for Picton.
Yes, we'll see the Dragons defeat the scrum, 15 out from their own line. Just see how many they put into the scrum, see if they've got a full complement out there or not. I've got a feeling they might have an extra. No, they're packing with 5 in the scrum, so playing with 12. There's certainly several injuries there as they work it out at their own end, the Dragons, up to the 20 on the first tackle. And for Picton, this is about making sure their defence is solid, and they number off as we see the replacement for Moss Vale take it forward in 14. They play it now, and it comes back through the front rower in Markham. He keeps it alive. Maloney pops it out the back, and there is a knock on there from Moss Vale. So, and certainly not the forte at the moment for the Dragons, and they are struggling, trailing 32-0 and deep in defence with 33 minutes to go in the second half here at Victoria Park.
Yeah, the biggest test this afternoon, this second half might come up here in the commentary box, trying to keep going the way it's going for Moss Vale. But you're just saying off there, Frenchie, that Moss Vale only won the comp a couple of years ago. Yeah. And it's really degraded, hasn't it?
Yeah, it has. It's pretty sad to point to, because they had such a good batch of juniors coming through right then. From my understanding, they might have had a bunch of players go down to Jamboree and other places, but yeah, they just seem to be struggling to get quality players back there.
As we see the Magpies on the attack, only a couple of metres out from the line now. Let's see if they can put another one on the board. As they play it now, comes through the hands. Poisel gives it off to big Chris Bowers, charging forward, only a metre or 2 short of the line. Can't get through this time. I think I counted 4 red and white jumpers there to stop him. Provost, Poisel goes himself, beats one, no, can't get through the line. Gets it out the back. Provost will score. Nice work there from the Magpies. Bryce Poisel set it up and Provost gets the reward. That's his second for the afternoon. And makes it 36-0. I think I've got it in favour of Picton over Moss Vale.
Sounds about right. That was a lovely little offload out the back by Bryce Poisel. He's dangerous close to the line. He's the general out there, but when he gets a little sniff and he gets half a break and he looked like he was going to dive over and just popped it out the back, and Anthony Provost undetected straight through.
The Dragons, you can see the body language is certainly, they're not heads down, but they are certainly struggling this afternoon, the Red and Whites, and they are certainly fighting, but it's an uphill and fair to say a losing battle.
And the other thing with Moss Vale is they have had a crippling injury to I've heard this year. They lost the big front row of Esky, who's a quality player real early in the season. That's a huge blow for them. Like I said earlier, I saw that first game. They only got done by the Midigon Lions, or the top team, by I think it was about 16 or 18 points. It was something competitive for most of the game, so it has been a bit of a decline for them, unfortunately.
But yeah, disappointing to see the Dragons struggling this year. They were competitive a couple of years ago, and Curtis, would be good to see them get a few extra bodies back on deck to at least give them some sort of hope in the
absolutely, yeah.
The latter part of the season.
Frenchie made comment off there as well that they've definitely got the financial backing to compete with the top side. But they just, Frenchie said himself off there that it's very hard to get players down there on a regular basis.
And it is a difficult location, especially for people working in the Greater Macarthur region, as Provost converts his own try to make it 38-0. I think I've got it. It's hard for people at this end of town to go and play in Moss Vale on a Sunday. It's hard to attract people to go down to that end of town and play for them.
Yeah, you're right there. I mean, even when you're talking about people from the metropolitan area, even to come to a place like Picton, depending on where you're from, that could be half an hour, 40 minutes. You add another half an hour, 40 minutes on top of that. But even though you're going straight down the Freo, who really wants to drive an hour or so down to the first goal?
And to go down twice a week for training plus game day, it's a real battle. I don't know what the solution is. Maybe the league can provide some sort of incentive or motivation for the club to try and attract players. As we see a one-on-one strip from Moss Vale, and the hooker in Jones has it for them as they work it forward now through their front rower. Markham up to the 10-metre mark. He'll play it 8 metres out, just in from touch about 5 or 6 metres on this broadcast side. Jones a dummy half through the hands. There's Williams, the rock star, hasn't got a lot to offer, takes it himself and pulled down about 5 metres out from the Picton line. Let's see if the Dragons can score a try here. The loading short side as they give it off to the replacement in the 14 jersey, and he takes a good run upfield and he'll play it about 5 metres out. Jones through the hands now. Cullen out the back for the centre in Pearce. Gives it off for the fullback in Gray. Puts a little grubber kick into the in goal. Michael Lett cleans it up. Won't get it back into the field to play. Keeps it alive though. Pops the flick pass. And they're away, the Magpies. Up over the 10. That's the replacement in Pudney, who's pulled down 15, 17 metres out from his own line. Dangerous play from Michael Lett, but it paid off in the end.
It's a good run from Mark Pudney there. As I said earlier, he's from the under-18s team. He is really, really quick on his feet. I believe this is his first game at first grade. I could be wrong, but I think he'll play many more in the future.
What a day to make your debut in the top grade too.
Yeah, certainly. And he hasn't
been a very sore head tomorrow.
And he's certainly been solid in his efforts. He hasn't been disappointing.
And speaking about guys making their debut in first grade, big Georgie Benevolo, he played reserve grade in front row. He's a great guy, the big Fijian, one of the nicest guys you'd ever meet. He's just taken the field in first grade, and I hope he goes well for Georgie.
What's that name again?
George Benevolo, I believe it's pronounced, or else something along those lines.
Vainu, something like that. That's what I've got.
Georgie anyway. He's big George. He's
big George to everybody.
He's been known to knock up a big bowl of carver for us up here.
Oh dear. I hope you haven't been involved in partaking of the carver.
Well, you've got to when you know.
Well, that's true, because I've heard that the carver can cause a bit of damage on the Sunday morning.
Yeah, definitely didn't want to overdo it. It was just a sample, really, for me.
I'm sorry, but to all the lovely Fijians out there, I know it's a great group of people. But
Absolutely.
I've tasted it once, and never again.
Yeah, more commonly known as dirt water.
Yeah, so I haven't had the pleasure of partaking of any, and I won't be doing any tonight, but yes, I have heard of the reports of the carver, and if you give it a bit of a nudge, it can lead to some sore heads on a Sunday morning, as we see big Chris Bowers charging forward for Picton. What is he about?
17
metres out from the Moss Vale line. Provost for Poisel. Poisel for Bainavalu. Listen to the crowd. Big George takes it forward. And he'll play it 15 out in centre field. There's Provost at dummy half. Gives it off for Poisel. Poisel dummies. Threatens. That's come off a Moss Vale head, so 6 more tackles. Cole Shepherd has it only about 8 metres out from the Moss Vale line. What can they do here, the Magpies? Provost from dummy half goes himself. Can't quite get through the line. That was the front rower in Markham shutting him down. Only a metre or two out from the Moss Vale line, in line with the left hand upright. Comes back and through the hands now. It looks like second rower in Matthews, who is over. Blake Matthews gets his name on the scorer's sheet for the Magpies, and I think that makes it 42-0 in favour of Picton over Moss Vale, with a kick to come from beside the uprights.
Yeah, nice little bit of footwork there by Blake Matthews. He's a good player. He's played a lot in the centres this year. He actually played under 20s for South, I believe, last year. Very talented young bloke.
And I know they're winning by a fair margin. It's usually the spine players 1, 6, 7 and 9 that get the little mentions. Chris Bowers in the front row for him. He's been a tower of strength and well over 100 metres with the ball, I'd assume. He's a big boy and he's getting through plenty of work this afternoon.
Well, I thought you were going to say well over 100 kilos, and you wouldn't be wrong. He's a big fella and he's a good mate of mine, so I can give him a bit of stick. And I'm pretty sure he'll be listening to this later on, so good work, Bowers. I'm proud of you, mate.
You know, he's been very impressive tonight, the big front row. He's been certainly has been impressive in his efforts, so he's certainly leading from the front, and that's what you like to see from your front rowers, that they make good meters when they take it forward, and they want to make a statement, so that's what they're
honestly,
doing.
he's one of those guys I really like to see here, because he's a club stalwart. He's picked him through and through. He came through from the 18s, and he played a good few years in reserve grade as a front rower. It took him a few years to stamp a position in first grade, and he's just gone on and on since then. He really is one of the most consistent front rowers in the competition.
Is this going to be a jump for Picton if and when they make the semi-finals, that front row rotation and maybe lacking a little bit of depth up front?
It could be, especially since we just had our other front row. It's going great. Brett Clark, he's got a broken hand, but
that's going to be a fight.
Yeah, absolutely. But the other thing is we've got Chris Young, who I believe is one of the best, if not the best forward with the comp. He's been out for must be 8 or 10 weeks now.
Been out for a while. He's known to be a little fiery, Chris Young.
Yeah, but gee, he can play. He's a fantastic footballer. He's due back, hopefully for the semis, if not before. So we'll see what happens there.
Conversion successful there, so I think that makes it 44-0 on my count, but the Magpies well and truly in front. But yeah, if you can add Chris Young to that rotation with Shepherd and Bowers, that's only going to strengthen the Magpies forward pack, and I guess it might even allow a Kyle Shepherd to maybe drop back to the second row or play at lock and give him a little more freedom in the back row.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see what they do, because there's a lot of depth in the back row, but not so much in the front row. So
and I guess if you play him as a front row, you've got that 3-4 man rotation that you can work through. And losing Clark, that's a body blow here, because that's a major loss. Picton have it, what are they, 30 out from their own line. Provost for Poisel. Big George takes it forward, makes 5, 7, 10, 12, 15, 18 metres. Pops it out the back, straight to Chris Anahoro for Moss Vale. Did all the good work, popped it out the back, and Anahoro said, "Thank you very much."
Well, he is Fijian again.
I don't know if he got the call in Fijian or not, but it was
a bit of Fijian flair and a little bit of excitement.
Oh,
in his
great
first
to
game.
see.
And he could be that X factor over the coming years, coming off the bench as well.
As we see, I think that's the front rower, Markham takes it forward. Cullen for Williams. He'll chip over the top. Pearce, can he get the bounce? No, he can't.
It was a double.
Knocks it on, and the cries of anguish from the right-hand corner of the commentary box.
How much is it, 2 undies?
I don't know, but it was your shout if he got it. It's a scrum feed to Picton, 10 out, 20 in from touch.
Tell you what, if his fingers were about half a mil longer,
He'd just about held it.
I'm not going to knock someone for having small hands.
Hey, I'm guilty of that problem myself, so I'm not one to talk about the small hands.
But it does make everything else look bigger.
Wow. I'd like to believe you, but it doesn't work. Brendan Shepherd about to come on for the Magpies as we see Adam Marshall, who has played a bit of halfback this year and has certainly held his own when he's played halfback. He's going to feed the scrum on machine.
Very handy utility player for us, Marshall.
Certainly is. He feeds the scrum as that's Pudney taking it forward, 15 out from his own line in centre field. They go to short side now. And that looks like Shepherd taking it forward over the 20 for the Magpies. And Picton, to their credit, still fighting away in defence. Only got the 12-man defensive line, but they are still fighting away. As Big George takes it up over the 30 and pulled down about 35 out. 3 in there to make the tackle, so certainly numbering up if nothing else.
Yeah, there's a little bit critical of Picton in the first half just because we expected so much of them on a big day like this, expected to win big. But you can only play what's in front of you in this second half. They've certainly put into the cleaners, they're scoring some good tries and entertaining the crowd. So, as I said, you can only beat what's in front of you, and they're definitely doing the job in the second half.
Yeah, that's right. It's one of those games where, but the later it goes, just the more important it is that you keep them to 0. You do not want the other team to score. So that'll be Picton's motivation right now.
And that's more a mental thing, more than a physical thing. You've really got to keep switched on, make sure your defensive line is intact and operating the way it should be, because it's not so much making the tackle, but making sure you switch on to make the tackle. That's right. So that's going to be the battle for Picton over the next 22 and a quarter minutes as they work it forward now, about 5 minutes short of halfway. So play it now. Provost for Poisel. So you're going to do a little short ball there for Shepherd. Shepherd's into space. He's got support on the inside. He won't need it. Michael knocked over in back play, but big Kyle Shepherd goes over for the Magpies and extends the lead once again. I think that takes it over 50 now. It might be 52, I think.
Yeah, and right there was an indication of just how good his speed Kyle Shepherd is. As you can see, he's not a natural front row, but he just does a job there. When he got in space, he just glides along the ground. And a lovely little step there right at the end.
But they're the kind of tries that the coaching staff would want to see. Some good play around the ball and the short flat ball to the player and putting support pushing up. Some of these loose, plays, off the cuff plays that you probably don't want to see in a game like this, where you're expected to win and move forward in the competition. So good try there, and Picton, they're coming over the wet soil and they're really putting the sword now.
Yeah, 21 and a quarter minutes to go. I think I've got it at 52. I think that's
21 to go still.
Still 21 minutes to go. Just had a look. Still 21 minutes to go. I think it's around 52-0 on our count. So
probably report now on the reserve grade game. I think it ended up about 38-14 to Picton over Moss Vale. Should give a shout out to my reserve grade boys. I'm the manager, and they'd be dirty on me if I didn't.
Yes.
But yeah, so it was a good game for most of it. A little bit scrappy. It was about 30-0 early, and Moss Vale got back into it later. I think it ended up 38-14.
Now, I was having a beverage at, I won't say what location, because the major sponsor of the Picton Magpies is obviously
the George Inn.
There you go. So, but I won't say what.
You weren't at that.
No, I was at a establishment. I was having a beer with Francisco Vera yesterday. Yeah, he did tell me he was going to score, and he got over. So
he did the big fella.
Caught under the big fella, and Willie Drees as well. Not Willie Drees, Jason Drees.
Jason Drees, yeah. Both played good games, actually. Good, consistent football.
The conversion is successful, so that makes it 54 if my count's right. 54-0 in favour of Picton over Moss Vale, and we've got 20 minutes exactly to go. So we've got 20 minutes left in this match. I think it's 54-0. So for Moss Vale, 20 minutes to try and salvage some pride. They've certainly committed themselves to the effort all evening. It's been difficult from the start, as we've mentioned, but they are still there. They've still got, I think, 12 on the park, several injuries. I think they had some more reserves. They'd have made some changes, but they've, I think, basically conceded they've got no one left. But they are trying hard, and for that you have to give them a big rap. Looks like the replacement could be in a bit of trouble for Moss Vale in the 14.
Best just underneath the big frame of Chris Bowers.
He's hobbling slightly, but he's back up in the defensive line again as we see Brendan Shepherd take it up to the 40 now for the Magpies, and they'll play it. Goes through the hands now. Poisel through the hands. Decoys out for Kyle Shepherd. Gives it on for the winger in Trevidic. Trevidic flops it back infield for Kyle Shepherd to pick up. Big George takes it forward. The crowd comes to life. Goes over the 40 up towards the 30. Eventually wrestled down 30 out from the Moss Vale line. And making good ground the Magpies, as you'd expect.
Tell you what, you'll hear the crowd are up if Big Georgie crosses.
Oh, won't they? What? The bounce for Poisel, chip over the top, and he regathers and scores. That was a lovely try from Bryce Poisel, the skipper. He'll be very happy with that, and that only adds to the misery for.
Well, actually, the judge has stayed in the field of play.
No,
and the ref has come out, and I think it's called time off for something.
What have we got here?
And a
penalty to Moss Vale. Well, there you go.
Offside.
So offside, I think, inside the 10.
I mean, and finally a bit of luck to Moss Vale. And the only thing they can get out of this is the officials at Moss Vale are going to remember the tough times like this and remember who stands up and stays on the field and has a dig.
Yeah.
And when the good times come, those guys will be remembered.
Yeah, and also to pay credit to people like Scott Geddes, who has obviously come off injured. He's unable to return to the field, I think one of the wingers might have been in a bit of trouble as well. One of the wingers might have been in trouble, but the 14 that have played in first grade, they'll certainly get a couple of extra brownie points from the management and coaching staff of the Moss Vale club for putting in the effort this afternoon. As we see the Dragons trying to mount something here, see if they can get across the line. That looks like the replacement in 14, taking it forward for the Dragons as they put it through their hands now. There's the big front rower of Robbie Alves taking forward. He's been solid for them this afternoon, Alves. He's been certainly trying hard throughout the afternoon. Cullen, there's Enahoro, the big frame, keeps it alive, does he? Yes, he does. Flops it out the back for Markham. Markham trying to go forward. Can't find a lot of ground. There's the Dragons now, 35 out, just to the left of the uprights. Jones plays it. Comes through the hands now. Cullen for the little jab kick over the top. Pearce was coming through on it, but Nick Taylor, the model, pulls it down and takes it, and he's held 25 out from his own line, 15 in from touch.
Yeah, that Enahoro, the back row from Moss Vale, reminds a little bit of the St George Dragons ex-back rower Scotty Gula.
Yes, there is a bit of Gula, and with the ball skills as well.
Yeah.
It's very.
Yeah, he loves the one-hander out the back, just like Goulet did.
Yes, and Goulet was a monster up there, wasn't he? He was, I think he's somewhere in the order of 6'7", 6'8" in that range. I don't think Enahoro is quite that big, but no, a very good comparison. As we see Big George Barnavalu take it forward from Picton.
Made a couple of good runs while he's been on there, George.
He has been impressive, Big George. Played it just short of halfway. Poisel flops it out the back, but it's gone to ground. Been towed ahead, no advantage, so we'll have the scrum feed for Moss Vale. About 5 minutes short of halfway, 16 and a half minutes remaining. I think I said it was 52-0, I think I worked it out, in favour of Picton over Moss Vale.
Yeah, if ever there was a time to get your best players off the field and get them warmed up for next week, probably now's the time. The game's over, 50-0, 15 to go. I mean, there's still plenty of time. Maybe some of those reserve graders Frenchie need to get back off that beer and onto the field.
Yeah. I think it's maybe a bit late for that now.
I can see Blake Matthews having a rest on the bench for Picton. He's certainly earned an early mark. He's been very solid this afternoon as Robbie Williams, the rock star, takes it from the scrum base. He's pulled down a couple of metres short of halfway. Plenty of tired and sore red and white boys out there, but they've given their all. Enahoro over halfway, dancing around, trying to find an offload if he can. Takes on Provost, pushing him around like a rag doll. Popped it out the back for Cullen eventually, but they've lost about 10 metres here.
I've never seen that before. He put under 7 blokes, but he still lost 20 metres.
Yeah, he still went backwards.
I think, to his credit, I think he's been playing with injury for just half an hour now. He's been hobbling around, but he's still doing what he can out there.
And there's 2 or 3 others who are in the same boat as Moss Vale, playing a metre inside the Picton half as they put it through the hands. Now there's Enahoro putting it through the hands again. A short ball for the replacement and couldn't handle it. We've got a knock on, and that'll be a scrum feed to Picton just short of halfway. We're down to 15 minutes to go in favour of Picton. It's certainly a margin around the 50-point mark, so it's been a comprehensive effort. And I guess this is where it's a little bit tricky for Picton. They want to save their better players, but you want to make sure you finish the job off. You want to make sure you do it properly.
Well, not only that, but I mean, the fact of the game is now that generally most clubs, including Picton, play with their 17-man squad, so you can't really just rest whoever. I mean, there are obviously players who want to get off, but now it's a 17-man squad, and just got to be careful now, I guess.
And certainly the 52-nilers, we see Picton working it up over the 40 now. For and against, going to be a major factor for them. Plus 52 today. I'll get one of you boys to work out what the percentage is now for the Magpies. As Brendan Shepherd takes it forward, flops it out for Big George, over the 20, kicks it out the back, but it's gone to ground. Picton do come up with it, so it's play on, and they have 15 out from their own line. The plus 52 for Picton today, if it stays at that, is certainly going to help them as we see them put it through the hands. Marshall, intercept knocked down by Moss Vale. Good effort there. But
Curtis doing the sums right now. I don't know how he's going, but
I think I see the mouse working hard. The mouse is doing double time.
Picton's for and against has definitely picked up quite a lot the last
plus
couple of
93 at the moment, so plus 93 plus 52.
That'd be about 145 thereabouts. So.
But yeah, no, especially after a big win against the Oaks in the last round, and then backing it up today, definitely get to where they want to be. Magpies.
As we see the Magpies win the scrum, goes through the hands. Poisel Out for Let. Let trying to find a bit of space. Ankle tapped. Great stop there. Let keeps it alive. And that looks like it'll be a try, will it? No. Pulled down a metre out. That was the far winger in Trevidic who was pulled down after the run from Let. Plays it now. Moss Vale had to be offside and penalty given.
They've done a pretty good job on Michael Let today, the Moss Vale players.
They have. And that's certainly something they would be able to look at and say, well, he did get a lot of free space, a lot of easy metres, and they'd certainly be happy with that. So they take the tap down, Picton.
Yeah, I think Lenny himself would probably be a bit disappointed. He's got 1 try today. I think he had 4 last week, and I'm sure he'd be happy to end that tally in the next 15 minutes or so.
Big Chris Bowers charges, spins, and did he get it down? Let's have a look, waiting for the signal. Yes, try. No, held up. Held up.
When's the last time he got one, Frenchie?
I think it was back in the dark ages. That technical wizard might have been playing at halfback that day.
I think he might have got 1 earlier this year. A couple of years ago, he scored plenty, about 10 in the season. But he struggled a bit this year. I feel sorry for him.
Couldn't get it down. Poisel from the play the ball. Trevidic steps, still going, keeps it alive. Provost with it, 5 metres out, wrapped up. Can they find another one here, the Magpies? The Dragons' defence has been solid in the second half as it goes through the hands. Let for Bowers, charges, can't get there, very close, half a metre. The crowd willing him on to get the try, but the arm's not quite long enough. Provost, dummy half, out the back, Poisel, there's going to be a gap there, he gets there. Nice try to Bryce Poisel. Second, I think. Oh no, hang on, he had the one called back before, so I think that's only his first. I think that's only his first for the afternoon. He had one called back earlier, so I think that makes it 56 with 11 and a half to go.
Well, we said at half time that Moss Vale and their coaching staff wouldn't want Picton to go through the middle of in this second half, and just we saw them. Bowers got over the line twice, and Moss Vale repelled them twice, and they were forced to go a couple away from the ruck. So if they could take anything from that, they definitely have tried to starch up their middle and work really hard for that middle third.
And you talked about the A and B defenders. That area has certainly been if not a strength, at least a positive for them this afternoon.
Yeah, I'll tell you, they've got some big fellas in the middle of the field, Moss Vale, and they've done well with their lateral movement. They've actually been able to move side to side a little bit and cut down the attack from Picton when it's looked dangerous.
So we see Anthony Provost lining up the shot at goal from just beside the uprights 10 out. He should throw this over.
I'm still waiting for this double voice.
I hate to tell you, but we're down to 10:40 on the clock. I think you're in a bit of trouble. As we see Provost hits the upright. Flush into the upright. But that doesn't count, so I think that makes it still 56 on my count, with about 10 and a half minutes remaining.
Even with 56 there, we've seen plenty of action this afternoon. I mean, goals in the post, offloads, swinging goal from Michael Let, 100-metre tries. It's been a good effort all round. And I know the score's 56-0, but Moss Vale can definitely, you can tip your cap to their performance.
Oh, absolutely.
They've been pretty good.
Just got a word in the ear. It's 54-0, and that's slightly off. 54-0 to Picton over Moss Vale, but as you said, they have certainly tried hard, and the defence has been an impressive highlight for them this afternoon as we see them spinning it wide now, the Magpies. Big George, about 3 passes off the ruck, tries to get over the advantage. They made it to the 20, plays it about 24 out as they work it from dummy half now. That's the winger in Pudney. He'll play it about 35 out. And looking ahead for the next few weeks, Matt, the Magpies, a couple of tough games. I think you're at is it Campbelltown City next weekend?
It is.
At Campbelltown. You've got a game against the Oaks here midweek. A couple of tough games to finish off.
Yeah, that's right. Campbelltown City is a really crucial one because I think they're running 4th at the minute, and they've been in pretty solid form too. It was a close one against Oakdale with them last week, so they're a tough team. They're pretty solid across the park, so that'll be a really good measuring stick for Picton to see how we are travelling.
And I guess the final 4 weeks into the finals, we've got that make-up game. We've got an intercept here. Nick Taylor's going to go 45 metres and score under the uprights. We'll complete the mission now. It scores under the uprights to make it 58. That's his first for the afternoon. So nice try there. Moss Vale trying to run it wide, but going to ground, and Taylor swooped on it to score under the posts.
Unfortunately, again there for Moss Vale, but Nick Taylor, I think that's his first try of the afternoon.
Yes.
So try for the main model, and coming over the next few weeks, Frenchie. I think recently Picton had the bye. They've last week a bye and then a big win again this afternoon where, I know they've still had to play the game, but maybe haven't had to execute as much energy as in a tough contest. And of course tomorrow, Campbelltown City got Camden.
Yeah,
which is not going to be easy.
Yeah.
It's Camden Res will form too, especially with Wade Dudley there now. He's made a difference to them.
Certainly has. But I think the problem for Camden, and probably Picton to a lesser extent, has been consistency or lack of. I think Camden and Picton, if they were to meet in a match late in the season or possibly a semi-final, that would be a very, very interesting match.
Yeah, correct. They've had a couple of good games so far this year. One each. Camden in the first round, and then we got over them just recently. Although we did give it to them a little bit, they had a few players out, so yeah, who knows? But that'll be a good one tomorrow, because Camden have certainly picked up the last couple of weeks, as have Picton. So Camden against Campbelltown City tomorrow could be a great one.
No, that should be a great game, and as we mentioned before, the Benny Stevens Cup. So if you're in the Campbelltown area, get out to Fullwood Reserve at Claymore, Campbelltown City and Camden. I think the first game's 11:30, and first grade at around 2:30 tomorrow afternoon. We'll have a look at the other matches after the game, but we're down to 7 minutes to go, and I think that made it 60. I think I counted that. That'll be 60-0 in favour of Picton, and they've certainly done the job. Gary Dowse, we'll talk to him, try and catch up with him after the game, but he'd certainly be happy with the efforts of the boys this evening.
Yeah, definitely the second half, the execution has been better. I think that was probably where they wanted to improve, so I think he'd be happy with that.
As we see the Magpies taking it up to the 40 now on the first tackle. We'll send our backstage crew down to try and chase up a couple of the Picton Moss Vale representatives and have a chat to them after the game. But I guess man of the match, if we were to hand one out, would be a difficult assignment this afternoon.
I think the bloke with the ball right there.
Yeah. I'd probably be with you, and he'd be happy to hear it.
It's radio, so I'm going to say his name.
You have got to say his name. And that was Chris Bowers.
So Bevo, if you're listening later on, mate, we've given it to you. You've got our 3 points from the 2 NCR team. Chris Bowers, the front rower, about a 200-metre game, I think. He's just been a tower of strength.
No, he's certainly been one of the better players for the Magpies this afternoon.
And that is good credit for a front row in a 60-something odd win. A front row usually doesn't get man of match in such a big scoreline, but he's really, really worked hard and hasn't shown the responsibility of being the big front row that depicted this afternoon.
Yeah, Moss Vale winning the scrum feed, 30 out from their own line. What are we down to? 5:40 to go in the match, 60-0 in favour of Picton. And Moss Vale, still to their credit, trying the young replacement. I'm not sure, I haven't got his name, but the 14 for Moss Vale. For Moss Vale, he's been very impressive in the headgear. He's certainly tried hard this afternoon, if nothing else, as we see the Dragons now 40 out from their own line, trying to mount something late in the match. And there he is again, the replacement. And
you've got to give him some credit, because he looks like he's about 50 kilos.
He's built like I am. He's about 4'1", and
they've been telling him up all day, and he keeps getting back up.
Getting up and having another run.
I think he wears a headgear to give himself an extra kilo.
I know how the poor bloke feels. Let me tell you, as someone who always played well below his weight, I know how he feels. You're always fighting just to be up to scratch. As we see Moss Vale 10 metres out now on the attack. That's Markham with it, who's been solid for them this afternoon. He'll play at 10 out from their own lot, from the Picton line. That's Jones for Cullen. Cullen holds it up. Which way's he going to go? Doesn't really know where he's going to go. So he'll take the tackle, lose 3 or 4 metres, and be pulled down about.
Got into the left here, boys.
14 out from his own, from the Picton line. They go through the hands. There's Enahoro. He'd probably deserve a try today. Can he unload? He might not need to. He's only about 4 metres out now, and he'll play it. Jones at dummy half. Sloppy play the ball. Goes himself. Jones, little grubber kick, bouncing around. And we've got a whistle. Well, I think we might have a knock on here. What have we got? Referee McDonald has given a penalty to Moss Vale. Out of all of that, found a penalty for Moss Vale. Not quite sure what that was for.
Yeah.
A little skill. Oh, no, it's a scrum, is it? Okay. Scrum feed to Moss Vale, 10 out. We're down to 3:50 to go. So a couple of minutes left for the Dragons to try and mount a try.
I'm a little bit worried out here. We've got Pierce out in the centres, but look who's outside him.
Big Brad Maloney.
Yeah.
He's the biggest outside.
Flashbacks at Melbourne Ingham.
Yes. As we see Enahoro, the short side, goes himself, beats one, beats a couple, very close to the line. Only Penalty, Moss Vale is very close to the line, but they've got the penalty. Not quite sure what that was for, and Enahoro's. He's been battling all afternoon. He's down again.
Moss Vale were going to score, and sorry, Curtis, but you probably want to see Enahoro get it because he's tried all day.
He has tried his heart out.
He's been dangerous. In the last half an hour, probably playing with an injury.
As we see the big second rower get up and hobble his way back into the line. Penalty to the Moss Vale. We're down to 3 minutes to go on the clock. They've fought hard this afternoon, Moss Vale. Let's see if they can get a try on the board. It goes through the hands now. There's the replacement of the 14, giving it on for Williams for Champion. Champion wrestled down 7 metres out. He's certainly a talented player, Josh Champion. There's Big Maloney from dummy half. The biggest dummy half. Flops it out the back for Maloney. That was for Champion, but Adam Marshall's picked it up for Picton, and they've sent it wide through the hands. There's Poisel up over the 20, and Moss Vale trying to steal it one-on-one, but not successfully doing so as Picton take it away. There's Trevidic with it as they work it up to the 30 now, and they'll play it. We're down to, what are we, 2 minutes and about 2:15 to go.
Bryce Poisel, I think he probably get the 2 or the 1.
He's certainly been solid, and no, he has been one of the better players for Picton this afternoon as they play it about 7 metres short of halfway.
I just sort of realised we haven't seen Timmy Dengate out there for a while, so I hope he's not injured.
Well, I've noticed young Marshall's been doing a lot of work at halfback.
So hopefully Timmy's just resting.
Yes, I suspect, well, we hope that's the case. Anyways, Picton played about 35 out from their own line, from the Moss Vale line rather. Anthony Provis plays it. Lett gives it off. Hurley kicks over the top. The bounce, will it sit up for them? No, it's not. It's going to run dead. Late appeal for a try, not given. Knock on in goal. Moss Vale will get it back at the 20. It was a nice effort there, but the model couldn't quite finish it off, and they'll get Moss Vale will have it 20 out from their own line and away upfield. I think that's Cullen, the halfback, with it. It is. Got over the halfway, but ran out of territory. And he plays at 5 inside Moss Vale, inside Picton territory. Champion for Jones. Through the hands, Cullen gives it off. That looks like the other front rower in Alves with it. And he'll play at 5 short of halfway. Lost a little bit of ground on that play, but certainly attacking to the last, the Moss Vale side. There's Big Maloney, lumbers over halfway, makes 3 or 4 metres.
I don't know how many night games Moss Vale play, but there's certainly some glare coming off some of these Moss Vale with the shaved heads. Well, let's say they're shaved anyway.
Yeah, I referred to Cullen as Trevor Shadell earlier, and I'm standing by that. I swear that's him.
As we see the Dragons working it forward through Markham now, and he'll play it 25 out, 15 in from touch on this broadcast side. They're reaching for the siren, not long to go. Cullen puts it up. Where's it going to come down? A couple of metres out from the line. He's dropped it. It's been knocked down, and Moss Vale have forced it. We've got a knock on. No try. Siren's about to sound in the background. And it will be a scrum feed to Moss Vale. In fact, to Picton. The Moss Vale players protesting, suggesting they should have got the scrum feed. But there's the siren in the background, as you said. That is full time. Picton 60, Moss Vale 0. Comprehensive win for the Magpies. Certainly not the best quality game, to be fair. Not the highest of standards, but I guess Picton did the job that had to be done.
Yeah, you're right, especially in that second half. It's hard to get motivated after half time. I guess, in their defence, they just came out and did what they had to do in the second half. They didn't drop off. They just went through motions and played their sets out, and the score kept on ticking over, and it shows.
We're setting the call. You can only beat what's in front of you, and this game was only going to go one way. So, I mean, the battle today was Picton and within themselves, and as you said, Frenchy, their execution in the first half wasn't that great. But in the second half, they definitely tried to go through the middle, and they tried to get to their plays. And I saw some pretty good tries from Picton in the second half, so they'll be pretty happy, pretty excited about the next couple of weeks coming up.
What we might do, we'll take a short break, see if we can grab a couple of the better players or the coaches from both sides, and wrap up the game and preview tomorrow's action in the Group 6 Rugby League. We'll take a break on Saturday Night Football on 2MCR and have more in a moment.